last two of my previous Python classes, I have covered mostly the basics of the Python, and in last class we have covered the NumPy, right? We have covered some basics of NumPy, and if you want to go in some advance, you can Google it or you can read it out uh, for some advanced function. Okay, but basically uh, why NumPy? It's because it's very advanced function to handle a large set of data. A list, if you only use list, it may be a bit slow. Okay, if we handle a large set of data set, that's why we go for NumPy. Okay, and after that we did some basic iterations over it, right? How to read it, how to create arrays, right? And how to find values in it, right? Some basic things we did. Now today I have opened my Jupyter. I think you should also open this particular Jupyter, right? You can open it, and in your particular folder, right? In document Python basic, right? I created that particular folder. So you can, you should create one new file, right? For today. I'm creating new Python file for today, and mostly let's name it Python 6 day 3. Okay, we have covered NumPy, right, in last class. Today I want to start with one function, and I think we can do that so that your NumPy you will be able to revise, right? Because we had 1 week gap, so I don't know how many of you remember that particular part, right? So today we'll create some sort of iteration, right? Let's say we'll how to use NumPy. We'll simply use import function, import NumPy, as we usually do, right? So here what exactly we are trying to do, a simple thing we want to do. We want to iterate over uh, an array. In that particular array, we want to know that if any particular part of that particular array is even or not, something like this. Okay, if any element of that particular part is divisible by 2, then we can say that it is an even thing. So what we'll do, we'll create an array, we filter it out, and we'll say that which part of, or which are the elements which are only even one. So let's say I want to create an array named array np dot array. I think it's visible. Okay, it is more visible now. np dot array, I will create, we'll simply pass some values, right? We'll simply say, let's say 1 2, some random number, also 5 6 9. Okay, so what we did, we have created an array with few values, right? Now we want to create another array. Let's say we want to create one filter array, right? We want to filter it out some values, filter array, and it's an empty array, right? Because it doesn't contain any value. So now whenever we want to iterate to anything, right, you want to go from its first value to the last value, right? So for like list, or previously what we did for tuple or dictionary or anything like that, any sort of data set, simply like that also we can do hold the element in our array, right? In arr, want to go through it, and if that particular element, right, that element, if it is divisible by 2, you can say, if it is okay, so what's it, so divisible by 2, the modulus of its value, if it is 0, then we can say that this is an even value. Or we can say, we will simply say that whichever is whichever is even, we'll simply say that this is an even value. So we can say that this is a true, right? So the array which we have created, right, it's a simple list, right? It's an empty list. So in this, we'll append those values. How will use append with those values? We'll simply say append. If it's, the modulus value is 0, then we'll simply say it's true, else we can say that it's false. So make sure your indentation is correct right here, right? If your indentation is correct, it's fine. If it is not, then you can say that this value is false, right? Something like this. Now, all our values, they are in this particular filter array. Okay. Okay. So, this will create this. This will create this. Now, if you want to print particular this, let's see what it will give. Print this filter array. It will simply give me 1 is false, 2, 4, and 5 is not an even, right? 6 is an even value, something like this. So, something like this we can do. Or if there is any advanced thing which you need to do, let's say divide by 3 or anything else, anything specific you want, you can give those values and you can iterate over it. Now, after going for this, after this numpy, what we have pandas, right? I will simply cover some basics of Panda. There will what we'll do, we'll read some data, a data file, and then we do some basic function like how to read the data, how will be able to generate, how will you go from one value to another, and how will get those values, right? Something simple like things like we will do. So here, chat values, I think I can share one file with you. Let's share one file. I'm sending one data with you. Also an open source data. Okay. So on CSV file, I'm sending Pokemon data. So I think it is error cannot be sent because it is currently okay. Let's close it. Send it again. Yeah, you can download this Pokemon data. Okay. I will also open this particular file. It is available in both format. But just for now, it's in Pokemon data. Now, in this particular data set, what we have different types of Pokemons. Many of you have seen this particular web series, right? This particular Pokemon thing, right? You know, some names are there, right? They have some particular characteristics, right? Which kind of things they can do, or where they stay, or something like this. Like, or which kind of characteristics they have, right? Do they have some attacking power, defense, special attack power, special defense, some speed, and some through some classification. Okay, we have these kind of values, right? Any kind of data set we can have. What it will have some names, it will have some values, right? Some classes, particular classification. Here some defense values there, right? It will start from some point, it will end at some point, right? For now we just have the data set, right? What you should do, you should download this particular data set and paste it in the same folder. Okay, the same folder, same directory which we are using, Python basic, right? Where this particular Python file is there. Otherwise, what you have to do, you have to, if you put it somewhere else, then you have to give the entire location. For now, you can skip that part and you can paste it in the same folder where we have saved this particular Python file. Wherever you have saved, just for namesake, save it over there. So we'll start after that. Okay. So in pandas, okay, what exactly is panda, right? So many of you have heard about it, right? Why this kind of powerful functions, right? We use. So in Python for pandas, right? So let's call it like panda. Sometimes are there. Okay. Panda, name of this library is panda. Okay, Panda. Okay. So this is a Python library. Okay, which we use. Somebody is texted. Yeah, I've sent the data set. Okay, this file I have sent. I think you will may have received it. I sent it to everyone. Please download it and save it in your directory, right? Wherever we have saved, we have
So,
saved.
so,
Yeah, yeah,
so sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
I guess I had some network glitches and I did not get data, and I just uh, missed that part which you were showing through the Excel file. Can you
Exercise.
just
Yeah,
in
you don't
small
need
you
to worry
can
about it. Yeah, it's not important right now. Okay, it's some data set is there, right? It has some characteristic, right? Some Pokemon's names are there, right? It has some different kind of characteristics, some defense and all. For now, you can forget about the other stuff, right? For now, just we'll focus on how to read the data, right? What kind of things it has, right? These values, these things, these are some specific things. Okay, if you don't remember, it's fine, right? But when we use some real life project or when we want to do some other things, then we'll have to know about it. For now, you can skip it, right? For now, it's not important, right? So why this particular panda library is used, right? It is used to, let's say, working, we want to work with data sets. Okay, data sets, some kind of data set we have, right? We have some files, right? We'll use it to read, we'll analyze it, we'll sort it, or we'll do some basic things. Like what things we'll do, right? Things we'll do, we will analyze the data, we'll create some summary, right? It will so let's say you have a large file, right? You can simply read it out, and when you create summary, it will give you some basic characteristics, right? Some basic statistics for that. These things you will get, and after that, few things you can do. You can clean the data, right? If some values are missing, either you can remove those values or keep some particular different values for that, and some things like some stuff like this you can do. And after that, you can explore the data, or you can say manipulate the data, right? Some things we'll do. So these things, these are few things which will mostly use, right? So for now, for today, we won't use much. Okay, why? Because we have to go for plots also, right? So I will simply start with some analyze things and how to read the data, and some stuff we'll do. So basically, why we use this panda? We use it to analyze big data, right? Some basic to make, we'll try to make some conclusion about our statistics, right? And if we have a messy data set, then we can use it to clean it up. We can make it readable, and something relevant things we'll do. So many things we will do with pandas. For now, just forget it, and we'll simply use it to just to start with. Okay.
Hi. So basically, your file needs to be kept in the Python basic folder, is it?
Yeah, for now you keep it there. Otherwise, what you have to do, you have to I will come to that. Okay, otherwise you have to pass the entire file path. Okay, the entire file path. For now, just say import pandas at pd. Okay, why I'm showing, you can use pd at multiple times. Next, when it at any place, if you need to use pandas, this particular library, the function of this particular library, then you can use pd. Okay, now what we'll do, we'll use pd. Okay, we'll use pd. Okay, pd dot, what we want to do, we want to read an csv file. Csv file is there. If the excel file would have been there, we would change its name to read underscore exel, or if it would have been text file, then we would change it to read underscore txt. Okay, now inside this code, what you have to do, you have to give the name. Okay, let's say what name is there. I'll simply copy paste the name, Pokemon underscore data. This is the name of the file, then .csv. Okay, for now, just skip other parts. We'll simply read this particular data, okay, using this particular file. Now, once we read the data, we have to save it somewhere, right? We cannot simply uh, save it in the memory, right? We have to save it. We have to define some variable. Let's say df. In this particular variable, this particular data set will be read, and it will be there. So what will be there? Let's see. We'll do df. So once we run it, see, it has read the entire data set, okay, from starting to the end. Okay, 799. If you go through traverse through this particular Excel file, at the end you will see that, okay, 721 Pokemon are there. So here 721 lines are there. Okay, these things, maybe some things are repeated, maybe some values are missing, or anything can happen in data set, right? It's not like it will be a clean file. You read it, or when some none values will be there, some point, some none means the values are missing in this, right? So these things you have to be very careful about it, because this file is there, you have the data, but if you want to analyze it, first you have to clean it. You, before that you have to read it, right? Now it is readable. Now when now you have to traverse from one point to another, and few things which you, whichever you want to do, you will have to do. So for now we have this particular data set, df. Now what is df, right? I don't know. Let's say now I want to know the type of this. Okay. Type of this. Okay, so it's a data frame. It's a data frame which we have created using pandas library. Okay, so in data frame we can do many things, but just remember this is very powerful thing. Okay, so whatever you want to do, but just you have to read first. You have to read the data, save it in some place. Pandas will automatically change it to data frame. Okay, this data frame is there. Now few things you want to do. This thing is very messy, right? File is very large. You just want the head of the data, right? You just want the initial, let's say 5 data set. Okay, so what it will give? It will give you something, a clean thing like this. It will give, right? 1 to 5, initial 5 name of those Pokemons, some Bulbasaur, I don't know, Venusaur, and some different names are there. Okay, now things like this. If you want, just want the last names. Okay, so last line also you can get using tail function. Okay, I will simply print it, otherwise it will get lost, right? You already know this. Few things may be repetitive, but if you do it again and again, you will get to know why I did this. Okay, again simply it has given initial 5 values, last 5 values, that's it. Now same thing you can do if you have a CSV file, then instead of this, what you have to do, instead of CSV you should change it to Excel, EXCEL. The extension would have been different. Instead of CSV, it would have been Excel. Some extension would have been there, XLSX or XLS, whichever extension would have been there, you should have used it. The same data set would have been in DF also, if you read it, if you read it from Excel set. So for now, we are skipping it. We are only using, we are only reading for CSV file. Okay. Advanced part, so many things I will come back to it later. But for now, we have read the data set. We know which kind of values it has, right? Now, now if I want to know the headers. Okay. Control enter. Right. Now, you just want to know which headers means column name, right? First one was hash, name 1, name 2. These names, right? These names you want to read, right? These names. You can also save it in some files, right? If you want to use it. Without it, you won't know which kind of classification it is, right? So here in DF, you have these kind of columns now. If you simply want a particular column data, so you simply write DF square bracket and give some names. Let's say you only want the name of those Pokemons. You will simply say DF from data frame. I only want the names, so it will give you names. It's a data type. How many values it has, right? Or you can say you only want names, some different characters. Let's say attack and defense. Now let give me, oh, it has given me some error, right? You cannot pass it something like this. So what to do that, you have to do something else. It's not a single thing. Change it. Now it will. If you want to save it, you can save it in another data frame. Okay, it will save as a different data set, data file. Let's say I'll use it df1. Okay, it has some different these values. Only name, attack, and defense is there. Right? These things are there. So you can use it. Now we want to read the location, right? We have read the columns, right? You want to read any columns? You simply write df name of those that column, right? That's the name was there, right? Same thing you can do if you want to read the rows, right? So if you want to read the rows, right? Only rows, you can give a particular name or something like this. Then what you will do, you'll simply say iloc function is there. Df dot iloc read me which one, let's say initial 3 rows you want to read. Okay, if you want to run it, okay. Index symbol there 0 to 3. I don't remember now. Let's see. Okay, what the have I done something wrong? Yes, I don't need to use this, right? Here 0 to 3. Yeah. So once you practice, right, you will also face some errors, right? Some it is giving some error. Why? Because you may not have written it correctly. So just check your syntax, right? So here you have read the rows, initial 3 rows, right? If you want the last row, you can simply say iloc index is last. So something like this. If you want to read the columns, you have to write. You can simply write the name of those columns. Okay. If you want to read, if you want to know the rows, then you have to pass the index, because if let's say it doesn't have any index, right? When you have read the data, these were the name of the rows. If some rows name would have been there, then you could have also passed those values. Okay. Here, if you simply say if you want df1, what it will give? It won't give us anything, right? Why? Let's say I want the last row, so I will simply say my location, and I do this. Yes. These were the column name. This was these are the values. Okay? So things like this we can do while reading this data frame. Now, if you what if you want to go from, if you want to iterate it, right? You want to iterate the data points from first to last, or from one point to another. So you can say for index dot let's say index is like this. Okay, index and rows. So we'll remember in data frame dot iteration rows. I think this name is there, and we can want print index. I'm going a bit fast today. So many things I have to cover. Okay, so here we are traversing from starting to last. Okay, each data set we have to go through, and what it will give? It will give me the index name, right? First, this is there. What kind of things it has, right? Index means initially it will go for first index in all the rows. Okay. Yeah. So first column will be there. In first column, all the values you will get. Next thing what you will do, you will get. Oh, so I said it wrong. Just a second. Okay. So here we are traversing from start to end. Okay. So starting from index, and it is going row by row. So we start from here. Okay? This thing it has. Okay, so this one. Yeah, I was correct. Yeah. First, it is given this value. It is yes. First it has given me this value, okay? This value. Then it will give me grass. Then like this only. So we are iterating through rows. Okay. So first it will give the values in the first rows. In the first rows, what we are having? We are having the index values and then the rows. So something like this we can do if you want to traverse from one point from last starting to end. Okay, here we can specify some particular rows, index and all, right? These things you can, I'm skipping it for now. Just wanted you to know that you can read some data set, you can use pandas library. Okay, you can traverse from one point to last and things like this. Now if we are running short of time, what I will do, I will focus on plots only. Okay, so that's plot function. So hello, kindly mute your mic. Hello. Yeah, so we want to okay, so there is one library called matplot library, matplot.lib. This particular library we use it to plot the graphs and anything. Okay, so let's see if we have this. Okay, import matplot. I mean, yes, matplot library. Okay, we want to import this particular library and we want to use it with some values. Okay, so many things are there, but in this particular library we have one particular function. Okay, under that function many things are there. Pyplot, pyplot. Okay, there are many things are there in the library, but we'll only use pyplot and use it as, let's say, name as plt. Okay, and we'll run it. Yeah, if you get any error, let's say this is not installed or something like this, then what you should do, mostly it will be there. I don't know if anyone of you have it or not. In some editor it will give you some error. Okay, then what you can do, you can use pip to install that particular library. Okay, give some command, forgetting it, install name of the library. Okay, for now you, I think it is when you install it, it is there. Okay, now if you don't have, what you can do, you can use pip to install that particular library. This kind of repository, these are standard repository. There whichever libraries are there, they get updated automatically in the server side, or whichever things they do to modify it, to update it. Let's say there is a bug or they want to modify it or add some more values, more functions to that particular library, then they can do. So these things are there. Yeah,
so
hello. Yeah.
so before pip you have given an exclamation mark, so that is a denotion or a command for the Python.
No, it's these things are, it's a direct Python line. Few, I'm forgetting it, but these like this you have to call these values. Okay, let's say I forgot this, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, then what you will do, you simply Google it, right? Install. Just a second. Yeah, I am not able to see. Let's say you want to install in library. Okay, install matplot library in Python. Okay, you go there, you can, let's say I don't know anything, you don't know anything, you can iterate it. Okay, this notation is there, matplot library. Okay, maybe I have written something wrong, or in I have the editor I'm using, right? In some editor the notation is some different. Okay, that's why I'm missing out. But here point package is there, some things are there. Okay, it's already satisfied, these things are already exist. Okay, in my laptop this particular library is there. So you can skip this part if it is installed. If it is not installed, you can simply Google it, how to install this particular library. Okay, mostly the libraries which you use, I think they will, those will be there. Okay, now this plt library will be using, right? So few things are important, right? So this thing is important, and now this library we will also need numpy library. I told you it will be useful. You can use list, but it will be slow. Okay, it might be slow, just a bit slow. Okay, but so why you should use numpy? Because if you get started with only list, right? If you don't come to this particular part NP, right, then it will become, it will come into these things will be changing into your habits. Okay, so what I am telling you, if you do that, your whatever things you will learn, it will be a good practice for you. Otherwise, you have to again change whatever things you are practiced, right? So here one function is there which name is plot. Okay, we'll use it to plot some particular file. Let's say I will create 2 data points. Okay, let's say I create x points and I will create y points. Some few points are there. Let's say simple. So I will use it NP library to create those values. NP.array will have from, you can say 0, 6, 6. And here in y data set you will have array array. I have values, let's say from 0 to 50 or something like this. Now here what we'll do, we have to plot these values, right? So how to call this particular plot function? So we have imported this library as plt function, right? At plt name, this is the acronym for it. So we can use plt dot plot and to plot it, and you have to give the names. You should give x points, you can give y points. Okay, after that you simply run it. We have x point or points. Okay, so give something like this. But what should you do after this? You will simply write plt dot show. Here you are getting it. Yes, because these things will get lost at the end. So you simply want these values. So here what you are having at x points. Okay, for this particular thing, you are having at x point you have values from 0 to 6. At y you have 0 to 50. So by default, if you don't give anything, it will simply take all these values and create a linear line. Okay, so these things are there. And now if you want to add some, let's say you are getting confused by it, right? Let me create another data set, right? X1 and Y1. So at X1 we are having np.array. Let's say it has 4 values, right? 1, 2, 4, 7. Okay, we are again creating another data set for y-axis, y1, right? np.array, here we will have another values. You can say value 3, 8, 5, 10. So we create like this. Again, we'll use plt to plot these values, and we'll pass x1 and y1, right? Our x-axis values or y-axis values. Okay, right? Plt dot show will show, I guess. Dot show. So if you run it, can do. Yeah. So here, don't specify your values, right? So here we have specified those values in x1. In x1 array, what we had from 1, we had values, 4 values, 1, 2, 4, 7. For y1 we have 4 values, 3, 8, 5, 0. Okay, now we are plotting x1 and y1. So here first it will take 1 and here it will take 3. So here these indexes now it will create automatically. You don't need to specify for now. Don't specify it, it will create like this. It will create like this. So it is already specified, or it is all automatically detected this. So you have created one plot or one line for, let's say we have plotted something x1 and y1. Okay, we don't know why which kind of plot it will give, but if you simply have those values and x1 and y1, if both have similar indexes, right? Let's say x1 has 4 values, y1 has 4 values, For each x1 you have y1. So if you simply pass this, you will have a graph like this, right? Something like this is there. Now many times what we simply will have only y-axis value. Okay, we simply want to plot it against y. So some values will be there. Let's say y plots value. We'll create one new name and use it NP array. Okay, we'll pass some values. Yeah? A few values are there. 3, 6, 9, 1, few. Okay, a few values are there. I don't want to specify those values for y. Okay, and if you simply pass these values in this particular thing, okay, here I have not passed. Let's say I don't want to pass x-axis value. Okay, simply was I simply passing y-axis values. Okay, now if I run it, it will automatically set this value for, let's say it will start from x-axis, it will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will automatically generate graph for you. Okay, things like this is also possible because you don't need to specify, or you don't know how many x points you will need. So you can simply say this is my y, these are my y-axis value, just simply plot it. These things are possible using plots. So these are very basic things which we'll do. Okay, now few things what we can do. Here we will have some values. Okay, sorry, we'll have few things, like let's say we have marker and some advanced things are there. Okay, so marker things are there, some color codes are there, and some the marker, some many things are there. I will teach you, and so many things are there. And what is this marker and all? So here when you created this particular plot, okay, if you have passed the marker, its marker value is equal to this thing. I think is there a marker? Oh, is a marker. Okay, if you change it, you see the difference. Okay? What it is did, whenever this particular plot was there, some points, some marker things I have put. Okay, so you can modify these things. Okay, with your point, these markers. So many markers are there. This is the marker. Star is also a marker, and some data points, some comma values. If you read it, or if you can Google it, you will simply know how many things are there. Okay, you can simply say, simply write D, some diamond, pentagon, so many things are there. So I think pentagon is also there. PP is for pentagon. If you do it, just change it to some pentagon like value. These things are there. So these are called marker. Okay, these are properties of the marker. Now this 5 plot, we already have this value, right? If you simply, simply plotting. So we also have few additional things. Okay, for marker, I think you can is there. I will change it to this and change it to, let's say, yeah. Okay, marker, change it. Okay. Now let me check. Okay, these things are there. Okay, just for your description. And if you simply pass like this, okay, and the thing which I wanted to do is, if you don't want to write like this, okay, some values you want to pass. Okay, this will be your marker, this will be your line index, and this will be the color. So run like this. Yeah, so this plot, okay, this was your plot, and you are simply color coding it, right? Color coding, giving dash values, few things are there, right? Their names is also there. Either you can write names or pass these value, right? Dot lines or something like this. Okay, you will get you. So how you want to color code it, no, it's all up to you. Simply think few things are there. Basic things you need to understand how you want to plot it. Okay, if you are simply not able to pass these values, right, you won't be able to plot it. After plotting it, you can simply color code it, change different colors. So many colors are there. Okay, 520. Okay, now
So the
after
code for R is for
R is
the
for red.
red color
Yeah,
or
yeah.
for the dotted line?
No. R is for red color, G is for green color, I think, and P is for pink color. You can Google it. So many for this particular names. Okay, there are so many names, so many color codes. Some different hexagon files are there. Some different names are there. Millions of color combination will be there. Okay, you can pass those things also. These things are like standard one, like RGB and all these things. Right? Blue is also there, I think. B is for blue, right? These things are very standard one. So you just,
And what's the option for dotted and solid lines?
okay, I will come to that. Okay. Solid line. For solid line, I think we have, right? This is float one. Okay, I will give another one. Have like, it will be for solid, it will be like this. I think it should be for this. First, this was the first graph, this was the second. Okay, so for these lines, okay, line description, you can say, I will say lines. What do you have for lines? We have this. So for solid line, you can pass this, right? For dotted lines, you can pass only columns, right? Okay. And for dashed lines are also there, right? And some dash and dot are also there, right? So many things are there. You can even make some combinations. Okay, if they exist, you will get to know. Okay, this thing, I think this is. Let me first also try this. This. Change the color. Right? Both of these are different. This is a dotted line, and this is again, right, dashed line, I think. Okay, so these kind of color coding combinations, and for this particular marker type, right, I told you, you can use stars, pentagon, or dotted line, dot or color, right? These things are marker for marker purpose. You will have another value like to change the color of these markers, right? These things, so many things are there. To read some reference for them, you will get to know. Some R for red color, G for green, okay, M for magenta, yellow, and all these things are there. Okay, you can also change the size also. Okay, let's say these things are there. Okay, this thing you want to upload, right? This is the last thing I'm telling you, because it will take a lot of time if I cover all these things, right? Let's say you want to plot this. Let's say I want to plot y points, and I want to have, right? I want to create this marker. Okay, spelling is correct. I want to create O as a marker. Okay, I also can pass these values. Okay, marker size, let's say 10, and so many things are there. Me by default will be okay, and let's say no. Other things are also there. If you read the entire documentation, you will have so many things to play around. Okay, so you cannot point. So float. Like points. Like points. Like floats. So it has these values like floats. Marker is this. Yeah. Things like this you can do. So this marker is there, right? Size, it was by default something was there. If I change it, the size will be changed, right? Let me see. Oh,
And what is this MEC?
this is like a marker color, I think. Marker color. Yeah, this particular marker was there, right? By default, right? This particular marker is there. So I changed this particular color. Okay. And the market face color is also there. Market face color is like for MFC. I have so many things. Let's say I take it yellow. This, right? MFC for this marker's face color is there. This is for boundary areas. Okay. So marker boundary values. Right? So many things are there. If you can read it out, play around. Okay. It's not that important. It's not related to coding stuff. It's mostly how you want to plot
Sir,
it.
I have
Okay.
one
There's
question.
line steins are also there, right? LS function. Okay. Simply if you want to if you just want the line
Hello,
style.
sir. I have just
Yeah.
one question.
Yeah.
So, we have many data visualization tool like Tableau and Power BI. So when we are plotting something in Python, so what's the difference between those two platforms? Why we are doing this plotting in Python only. Is there any difference, sir? Because we can import the data in any data visualization tool, and we can do the
Yes.
same work in a much more efficient
Yeah,
way
yeah,
in
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah,
platforms.
yeah.
So
There
why,
also you can
sir, Python, sir?
why Python? Because it's not like they are no use to you, right? These are mostly those things, or maybe those things are like paid version for you, right? Or do you have to pay for it? If you,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, right? And this Python, it is an open source. Okay, you don't need to pay for it. You don't need to use it for these particular libraries, right? Whichever is open source, you don't need to use it. So
Right.
if you want to customize anything, right, there you will also have some options, right, in your softwares, right, Power BI and all. But those things are very
Right.
costly, right? So, and
Right. Right.
here everything is in your hand. Okay, you will play around. Once you learn it, you will like it. Okay, it's not that tough, right? You can visualize. These are like ultimately how you want to visualize it, right? And if I
Right,
am,
sir.
yeah, I don't want to
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
change
It's
the topic
okay. I
right
got your
now.
point.
Yeah, but I think you got my point, right? You can also plot multiple lines also, right, in the same graph. So how you will do? You'll simply actually, I have written some previous code just to save your time. Okay, let's say I have created y1 with few values, y2 with few values. I'm initially plotting y1, plotting y2, and I want to show it in the same line, in the same thing. Okay, so once I run it, you'll see this is y1. Okay, one is 3, 8, 1, and few values. Y2 is this one, 6, 2. Okay, you can specify the color code here also, right? By default, it will be something. Okay, here also you can specify, but it's not that much used for you. Okay, here also what you can do, you can specify some titles. Okay, here things like PLT. After creating this PL1, PL2. Okay. Here let's say I want the title, plt dot title. It will be the name of that particular graph. Let's say it's a sports data, something like this. Okay, and you can also pass x label and y value, values of these labels. Plt dot x label, let's say this is some kind of average of p, where the pulse value, something like this, anything. And for y level you can also say something, some calorific value or anything. Okay, so this is like this. You can add many things in this, right? So many things are there. You can also plot some background, some grid lighting also you can do. So many things are there. Okay, you just go through some documentation for this, and you will know that all these things are possible with this. Okay, now subplotting, there is function also which is important, subplot. Okay, subplot is there, and subplot in the same diagram you will have multiple things. Okay, multiple values. Let's say I want to, okay, I'm pasting it which I written earlier. Let's say you want to 1, 2, 3. I want 3 plots. Okay, for this first plot I have these x and y values, right? In subplot, these are the dimension, right? One is in which row, which column, and which index I want. Okay, these things are there. First, in subplot, what we have, we are passing 3 things: row, column, and third one is index. So this is the first index, we are plotting this particular graph. The second index, we are plotting this graph. Third index, we are plotting this graph. Okay, and these graphs, they are all in same column and same row. So once you run it, at the end, with each plot, right, you are plotting this, you are plotting this, you are plotting this, right? At the end, what you have to do, you have to specify that plt dot show. Okay, multiple graphs will be there in the same thing. Okay, to change these things, instead of third column, instead of second row, third row, to run it, will come in some different direction, right? These things, Okay, so many things are there. You can plot many graphs in the same code and use it somewhere else. So for your research or something else, you can save those also. Okay, now just to save the time, so many things are there. We have scatter plot, right? Scatter plot also you can do. For that you have to write simply scatter function. You will have those values, and you will have bar, right? Scatter graph you can draw, bar graph also you can draw. So many things are there. I don't know how much time I have left. Okay, only few minutes are there. Okay, let me give you one example for bar graph. Okay, for scatter you will have function like plt dot scatter. Okay, this can be your hands-on, say simple hands-on. Just create two uh, numpy array with it, one with x value, one with y value, and you will simply write plt dot scatter and pass those value names, let's say x or y, and then show. It will give you a scatter graph. Okay, I'll show you an example for bar graph. Okay, in bar graph what you have, let's say you will have some x value, right? You have some x values. Oh, I could have used those also. Okay, I have imported that df, right? Df, right? I can use them. They're very big. Df. I could have used that, but just for simplicity, so that you will remember this. Otherwise, if I start doing it in the large data set, you will get confused. That's why I'm giving small examples. In next class, we'll definitely use for. Okay, let's say you have ABCD. Kindly unmute your mic. C and D. These things are there, right? And the last thing we have is Y. Okay. Few things would be there. And that's 1, 2, 10. Okay. You have these two, right? Now again, you want to plot it, right? You want a bar graph. So PLT. Hello. I think it will work. Right. This bar graph you have. Right? So scatter graph is there. It will be like hands-on. Yeah, you can do it on your own. Okay, just create these two array with it with the same dimension. Pass, instead of writing bar, you can pass scatter graph, right? And you can also create histogram, pie chart, and so many things. The one thing which is important, I will use it to create box plot. Okay, box plot, I think. Okay, box plot. For box plot, let's say random library, right? Random library you can use, right? Let's say we are creating np.random.seed. We have already written import numpy as np. So here this will work. Okay, the seed value is there. Okay, the seed value, what it will do, whenever you create some random values, it will start from some particular point. If this seed value, if you don't pass seed values, every time when you run it, it will give you different values. Okay, if I start with 10, it will give me some value. If I start with 0, it will give you some random value, some different value. Okay, let's say I'm creating a data set. Let's say data set is simply data I can say np.random. I'm creating a data set, a normal data set. Okay, and it will have the mean value will be 10, variation will be 20, and let's say I want 200 data points. Okay, three things are there: mean value, variation will be there, and some this will be there. So can I create box plot with it? Some figure will be there. Okay, I will pass this. Let's say if I'm missing anything, box plot, and you will have pass the data dot show. So if you pass like this, you will have some box plot. Okay. So in box plot, what we have, right? In box plot, you will be able to see those values. Right? Few things will be there. And okay, now my time is over. Okay, I will need one more class to cover all these things, right? I can if I have a data set, right? I can first what we may need to find mean with some descriptive statistics for that. That also we can do, right? We have created that DF, right? For that also I will show you. But for this particular box plot, using why we use box plot, to get to know the first quartile, this interquartile range, median values, and here whichever outlier will be there, it will be shown here or there somewhere like this. Okay, some things are there. So these things we will do in next class. I want to do today, but I don't have much time. Okay, and outliers I will do. One pie chart is also there. Okay, so pie chart will also do. Swagata sir is there. Just let me see. Participants. Okay, sir is not there. Okay, I'll wait for sir. The next class is from 6, right? Was in schedule it was written from 6 p.m. or what?
15.
6:15, right? Okay. You want break?
6:15.
You want 15 minutes break or 5-10 minutes break? You want bigger break, 15 minutes break, then I have to stop here. Anyone?
Yes, I think we can start.
Yeah. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, just a second. Okay, just give me a second. Should cover something for today, right? Otherwise, it will be a waste of time. Okay. Yep, data set. We had this particular data set, right? HP. Let's see if I'm able to do that. DF. Anyone of you was able to import this particular data set? Anyone? The Pokemon data set?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's say I have this particular data set, a tag. Okay. I want some information for it. Okay. So before that also, I told you that particular data frame we read, right? For that, what's Pokemon data, right? Pokemon data we have already read. So now, as we have already know this thing will also know. So what we'll do, we'll I will create one function. Okay, we'll write down one function to find the outliers. Okay. Find the outliers. Okay, we have this of attack. Here, can we pass this? Let me check. So many things are there. Okay, yeah, I think let's say I want to find some outliers for this. Okay, so this attack data set. We have some functions to do it, but let me create our own function. How will we do that? Okay, finding outlier function. Okay, just give it will not take more than 3 minutes, and then we can break. Okay, finding outliers. Okay, let's say I will create a function. We'll use define, right? We'll create the function that says find outliers. Okay, we'll find outliers. We have to pass some values inside it, right? Some values, some data function, some data frame will pass, right? And we'll use quartile range for that. So how will you get the first quartile? Which data set we have, will have quantile. We'll have quantile function. The quantile function we pass 0.25. And we have another, if you want to know third quartile, third, we have another quantile function, QUA and TILE. Quantile function is there. we'll have this 0.75. Okay, this range will be there. If you want to know the interquartile range, right? What will be IQR, you can say, right? This will be the difference between third quartile and the first quartile, right? And we want to know the value of some outliers. Okay, want to create the outliers. So can anyone tell me which value will be the outliers? If we know the first quartile value, third quartile value.
1.5 times the interquartile range.
Yeah. So those values in DF, okay, those values which are less than first quartile, right? First quartile. So we have 1.5 times of IQR, right? This will be the first one, right? Now we'll have another one. This thing or those values which are Q3 third quartile plus, okay, these things. Okay, this thing is there, this thing is there. First we have to close this particular this thing. If we are closing this, we have closed this part. This is, sorry, this thing we have closed, this thing we have closed. Now we have to close this entire over part, right? So we create one more bracket for that. This is also close. This thing is closed. Now it will give us me some index value. So I want those index value for DF, sorry, small DF. Okay, I want those index values, okay, those values which are away from first quarter is less than 1.5 times of interquartile in IQR is correct, and again 1.5 times for third quarter. Okay, now I want to return this particular thing, return outliers. Okay, this function we have defined. Okay, we have to pass some data through it, right? Let's say I am passing some data, right? What's the name of find outlier? Okay, outlier, and we, let's say this data we want to use in attack data. Outlier this particular data set, run it. Okay, it has returned it, right? To return those values, right? If I want to use it again, okay, so many points. Mistake. Okay, we'll check back again if something is wrong.
Actually,
Yeah.
the second string, so DF should be greater than Q1 plus 1.5.
Oh, okay. Yes, good. Less than this and greater than this. Okay. Let me run it again. That's why I was saying something is wrong. Now, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. That's why I was thinking something is wrong. Now, using this outlier function, right? We have created or we have found out some outliers, right? Now we can save it, right? Some outlier values, some values. We can save these values and we can print something else, right? What is the maximum value of this particular outlier, right? What are the minimum values, right? What is the mean of that? Oh, sorry, not mean of that, but can we use mean function? And that it's mean there, I don't know. Mean is there. I don't know. We'll check it later next time. But here, this finding outlier is very important, right? In graph also you can see there is no outlier this side, right? Below side there is no outlier. In box plot also you can see all the outliers which exist, they are from upper side only, right? So which outlier we have? These values we have 190, 185, these things are there, right? So if you would have known the mean values, right? Some other values also, then with some other Z statistics also you could have find out, right? But here we have used interquartile range to find this out. So I think I have to stop it. Okay, we'll continue it in the next class. Okay, I'm stopping the recording.